Welcome to my channel. Try to hear the latest story.
3 days ago, I was in my home office, poring over some paperwork, when my phone pinged with a text from my fiancée, Lauren, who I'd been with for 2 years. We were set to tie the knot in 4 months. The message read, "Girl, he's totally oblivious, Sarah. In just a few days, I'll convince him to add my name to the house deed. After the wedding, I'll have control over everything. He hasn't even mentioned a prenup because he trusts me completely. This is almost too simple." I stared at the screen for about half a minute, stunned. Then another text came through. "Oops, babe, that was meant for someone else. Just messing around with Sarah about some TV show we're hooked on. Here's the thing about Lauren. She's always been terrible at covering her tracks when cornered. I used to think it was nerves, but now I realized it was arrogance. She was so confident in her scheme, so sure I was an easy target, that she got careless. That wasn't a panicked mistake. It was overconfidence. I immediately took screenshots of both texts and did what any sensible person would do. I called my attorney, Mark. "Hey Mark, quick hypothetical," I said. "If someone's living in my house but isn't on the deed or lease, how fast can I legally get them out?" He chuckled. "That's not so hypothetical, is it? What's going on?" I sent him the screenshots while we were still on the call. After a long pause, he said, "All right, here's the plan." Lauren had moved into my place 18 months ago. The house, inherited from my grandmother and fully paid off, was solely in my name. Lately, she'd been nudging me about feeling more secure and wanting her name on the deed since we were getting married. I've been warming to the idea. Love can cloud your judgment like that. But she'd made a critical error. "She's not a tenant," Mark explained. "She's a licensee at will. No rent, no lease. In our state, you can revoke her permission to stay with reasonable notice. We'll make it quick and legal." I met Mark at his office that day, and within hours we had a strategy. The next day was go time. That night, I went home and acted like everything was fine. Lauren was lounging on the sofa, watching TV, as if she hadn't just exposed her plan to upend my life. She smiled when I walked in. "Hey honey, how was your day?" she asked. "Not bad," I replied, grabbing a drink. "Pretty productive." She patted the couch beside her, and I sat, trying not to dwell on how many times we'd done this. How many of her words had been lies. "So," she said, toying with my fingers, "with the wedding coming up, maybe we should think about putting my name on the house? For security. What if something happens to you?" There it was, the pitch. "Yeah, maybe," I said, keeping my tone neutral. "I'll think it over." She grinned and kissed my cheek. "You're the best. Oh, and Sarah wants to go dress shopping this weekend. That cool?" "Sure," I said. I slept in the spare room that night, claiming I felt under the weather and didn't want to get her sick. She didn't question it. Why would she? I was the gullible fool after all. The next morning, I left early, supposedly for work. Instead, I met Mark to finalize the paperwork. The day was a whirlwind. At 10 a.m., I visited the bank and, as the sole owner of our joint accounts, transferred all the funds to a new account in my name only. By noon, a locksmith was changing every lock on the house. At 12:30 p.m., a formal eviction notice was taped to the front door. By 1 p.m., movers Mark had arranged began packing Lauren's belongings. Took them 3 hours. By 4 p.m., everything she owned was in a storage unit, paid for 1 month. More than legally required, but I wasn't heartless. Then I waited. At 5:47 p.m., she texted, "Babe, the door won't open? Is the lock jammed?" I replied, "Check the notice on the door." Silence for 3 minutes. Then my phone blew up, 17 missed calls in 5 minutes. I let them go to voicemail. Finally, a text. "What is this? An eviction notice? Are you out of your mind?" I responded, "Your stuff is at safe storage on Oak Street, Unit 47. First month's paid. Car keys are in the lockbox by the garage. Code 4567. Her reply, "Andrew, please. Whatever you think is going on, we can talk. You can't just kick me out. I live here." I texted back, "No, you stayed here. Big difference. Mark says you have 24 hours to get your things before access is revoked." She kept calling. I declined and texted, "Contact me only through my lawyer. His number's on the notice." Then I blocked her. The security footage from the next hour was wild. My new doorbell camera picked up everything, clear audio and all. She went from sobbing to yelling to trying to break in through the back door. The alarm system stopped that fast. Then she sat on the front steps, calling everyone she knew. The highlight? She called Sarah on speaker right near the camera. "He knows," Lauren wailed. "I don't know how, but he knows. The locks are changed. My stuff's in storage. What do I do?" Sarah's reply was brutal. "I told you not to text about it." "God, Lauren, how could you be so cocky? You screwed yourself. It was an accident. I thought I was texting you." "Well, congrats. Is your name on anything?" "No, I was going to handle that this week." "Then you're done. Better call Derek." Derek was a new name. Later, I learned he was her ex, who she'd been consulting about her plan. Apparently, she'd pulled a similar stunt on him years ago, but smaller. He'd been coaching her to do it better this time. Charming. Update 1. It's been a week since the eviction, and things got crazier. First, Lauren tried the emotional angle, showing up at my workplace with tears and a story about having nowhere to go. Security escorted her out after she made a scene. My boss asked what was happening, so I showed him the texts. He whistled. "Damn. Need some time off to deal with this?" Solid boss. Then came the social media storm. Lauren posted everywhere, claiming I'd lost my mind and kicked her out for no reason after 2 wonderful years. Her friends piled on, calling me every name imaginable. So I got petty and posted the screenshots. The comments were like watching a train wreck. Half her friends went quiet. The others claimed it was a joke or out of context. Sure, because everyone jokes about swindling their fiancé's house. Sarah tried to spin it, posting that I was financially controlling and had micromanaged Lauren's life. Funny, since I'd never even met Sarah. She was always busy when I suggested meeting up. Then Lauren's mom, Margaret, called. "Andrew, why did I hear you made my daughter homeless?" I liked Margaret. She'd always been kind, so I sent her the screenshots. After a long pause, she said, "That doesn't sound like my Lauren." "I thought so too, Margaret," I replied. "She's staying with Sarah now. Says you changed the locks while she was at work." "I changed them at noon. She hasn't had a job in 8 months." "What?" "She told me she was working at that ad agency downtown. This just kept getting better. She said she quit to plan the wedding." I told her. Gave her an excuse to be on her laptop all day. Another pause. "Andrew, she told me you wanted her to quit, that you were traditional about wives working." I couldn't help but laugh. "Margaret, I've been encouraging her to find work for months. Even offered to help with her resume." I need to go." "I'm so sorry, Andrew." She hung up. I felt for her. Learning your kid isn't who you thought? That's brutal. But Lauren wasn't done. She still had access to some of our wedding vendor accounts. I found out when the venue emailed me, "Hi, Mr. Thompson. Confirming your request to move the wedding to next weekend and add the deluxe champagne tower. Your new balance is $47,000. $47,000. She'd bumped up the date, added every upgrade, and invited 200 extra guests. The catering bill alone was more than a car. I called the venue immediately. "We can't cancel or change without both parties' consent," the coordinator said. "It's in the contract. She's not my fiancée anymore. The wedding's off." "I understand, but legally. What if my lawyer sends a cease and desist, plus a notice of intent to report wire fraud if you process her changes?" Silence. "What evidence do you have?" Mark sent them a package within the hour, eviction notice, screenshots, and a stern letter. 20 minutes later, their legal team called. They canceled everything, refunded my deposit, and banned her from the premises. Then it got wilder. At 11 p.m., my phone rang. An unknown number. I almost ignored it but picked up. "Don't hang up," Lauren said, her voice calm, almost icy. "I'm hanging up. I can make this worth your while." That stopped me. 10 seconds. "I know about your crypto wallet." My stomach dropped. I'd mentioned it once or twice in passing. A decent chunk from early investments, not life-changing but significant. "So, Derek's good with tech. Really good. Are you threatening me?" "I'm negotiating. Give me $50,000 and I'm gone. No drama. No lawyers, no mess. Or things get messy." I was recording thanks to Mark's advice. "Lauren, are you trying to extort me?" She laughed. "Extortion? No, I'm offering a clean exit. Think about it. Legal fees, court, time off work, $50,000, and you're free. Counteroffer. Go to hell." She hung up. I called Mark, then my bank, then the crypto exchange. Everything got locked down, new passwords, two-factor authentication, the works. The next morning, I had 47 login attempt notifications. She'd actually tried it. The audacity. But she'd messed up again. Trying to hack financial accounts? That's a federal offense. And I had her recorded threatening it. Mark was thrilled when I played the recording. Andrew. She just handed us a felony on a silver platter. We filed a police report that afternoon. The cybercrime unit was very interested, especially since Derek left digital traces everywhere. Update 2. A month later, I thought I'd seen it all. Nope. The police arrested Derek 2 weeks ago. He cracked immediately, spilling everything, texts, emails, the lot. Lauren had been planning this for over a year. I wasn't her first target, just her biggest. But that's not the wildest part. Remember her wedding planning? She was running a side hustle I knew nothing about, romance scams. She was teaching other women how to target wealthy men and siphon their assets. She had a website, testimonials, even a $499 course called Securing Your Destiny, a woman's guide to financial independence through strategic partnerships. I'm not kidding. One of her success stories, Jessica, 29, contacted me after the social media fallout. She'd taken Lauren's course and convinced her boyfriend to buy her a car before he caught on. She felt so guilty she tracked me down. She was so persuasive, Jessica said over coffee. Framed it as empowerment, taking charge of our futures. Said men have been doing it to women forever, so why not level the playing field? How'd that work out? I asked. She laughed dryly. Lost the car, the boyfriend, and most of my friends. Lauren ghosted me after. Jessica wasn't alone. With her help, we found a cached version of Lauren's website and contacted others. 12 women shared similar stories. Lauren had been running this scam for at least 3 years. But it gets better. Mark called yesterday with news that made me laugh out loud. You won't believe this, he said. Lauren's pregnant. I froze. What? Not yours. Derek's. About 11 weeks. The timeline clicked. 11 weeks ago was when she started pushing hard for the house deed. She was pregnant with another man's child and needed to lock in my assets before it came out. How'd you find out? She's using it as leverage in the criminal case. Claims she can't go to jail because of the baby. Her lawyer submitted medical records. Is Derek supporting her? Mark snorted. Derek's in federal custody, facing 5 to 10 years for cybercrimes. He's not supporting anyone. The prosecutor called next. They offered Lauren a plea deal, her testimony against Derek for reduced charges. 2 years probation, and she had to shut down her business immediately. Violate probation and she'd serve 3 years. Why so light? I asked. First offense, she's pregnant, and Derek's the bigger target. Her cooperation seals his case. I wasn't thrilled, but Mark had another card. To avoid a costly civil trial for the extortion attempt, her lawyer agreed to a settlement. $50,000 for my legal fees and emotional distress, plus returning the engagement ring. Lauren took the deal, standing in court to admit everything. The judge made her read aloud from her website about strategic partnerships. She looked mortified. The best part? Listing her assets for the settlement. She had $73,000 from her coaching scam and $15,000 from selling gifts I'd given her. The judge ordered the settlement paid from those funds, plus the ring's return and a $20,000 fine. When the ruling came, she looked at me across the courtroom. Defeated, not scheming, just hollow. Margaret was there, looking like she'd aged a decade. She mouthed, "I'm sorry," before escorting Lauren out. Update 3 months later, here's the final wrap-up. Lauren's living with her mom now. The pregnancy's moving along, and I hear she's working retail at a department store, her first real job in years. Her website's gone per court order. She paid the settlement, which drained her savings. Derek got 7 years, his prior offenses didn't help. Lauren's kid will be in school before he's out. Sarah vanished, deleted her socials, changed her number. Jessica heard she moved states to start over. Good riddance. I'm doing all right, not amazing, but not awful. I sold the ring and donated the proceeds to a women's shelter. Felt right. The house feels quiet, but I'm reclaiming it. New furniture, fresh paint, and a dog named Mark, who my lawyer finds hilarious. Dating? Not yet. Trust issues are real, but therapy's helping. My therapist says I need to trust my instincts before trusting someone else. It's lonely, but it makes sense. I sometimes wonder if any of it was real. Did she ever care? Or was every moment a lie? I'll never know, and maybe that's okay. Margaret texts me occasionally, brief apologies. Like, I hope you're healing. I don't respond. What's there to say? It's not her fault her daughter was a career con artist. The funniest twist? The women from Lauren's course started a group chat called Lauren's Survivors. We meet monthly for drinks, swapping stories about her tactics. It's oddly healing. Jessica's dating a social worker who thinks the story's wild but loves her anyway. Another woman, Rachel, launched a legit financial planning business for women, joking that Lauren taught her what not to do. Last week, someone asked if I regretted posting the screenshots. I thought about it. No. If I hadn't, she'd be targeting someone else. Maybe your sister or friend. They all nodded. We knew the cost of silence. So that's it. No big reconciliation. No extra revenge beyond the courts. No tidy ending. Just people moving on. If you've been through something like this, you're not foolish for trusting. They're awful for betraying it. Document everything, get a good lawyer, and trust your gut when something feels wrong. It usually is. Oh, and double-check who you're texting before you hit send. You never know when your own arrogance might save someone else's life. Peace out, and thanks for following my weird saga. Now, if you'll excuse me, Mark the dog needs his walk.